Your soul is eternal. Namaste, my friend. Happy Jack here. Welcome to our video series on the Bhagavad Gita, a beautiful, beautiful canonical yogic text. And today we're going to be looking at chapter 2, verse 20, which has some really beautiful wisdom in it. And the interesting thing to be aware of is that the teachings of this particular verse, they don't necessarily align with other religions, other theologies, other philosophies, and which is the case, right? There's different beliefs and different paths, and yet there's still some great learning and some ways that we can apply this to our lives. You don't have to be a 100% hardcore yogi. You don't have to be a Hindu. Whatever your path is, there's still some beautiful learnings in here. So what does it mean? Well, so essentially what it's saying is that your soul, it's never born and it never dies. Okay, so it never didn't exist, and nor will it ever not exist. So it's unborn, it's eternal, it's everlasting, it's primeval, which means that there's no indication of it ever coming into existence. It just always existed. And ultimately, when your physical body dies, which they all do, they all will, your soul will not. It will live on forever. But let's experience this Sanskrit mantra as it was intended. So if you'd like to sit up nice and straight, close your eyes, enjoy a deep inhale, exhale, clearing breath. Jāyate mriyate va kadācin, nāyaṁ bhūtvā bhavitā va bhūyaḥ, nityaḥ śāśvato purāṇo, hanyate hanyamāne śarīre. Namaste. So what does that mean? There's a lot of words. It's a long one. That was a long one to learn, but there's so much to unpack. So it's saying that jāyate. So we're talking about the soul. The soul is, at this point in the Bhagavad Gita, it's explaining the soul, which is also called the Atman or the Purusha. And so the soul, jāyate, it's never born. Mriyate, it never dies. Va kadācin. So at any point in time, it's not born and it doesn't die. And then from there, nāyaṁ bhūtvā bhavitā va bhūyaḥ. That your soul, it never didn't exist, nor will it ever not exist. So essentially, again, just another way of saying it's always there. It's always there. And then the third line, ajo nityaḥ. So ajo is unborn. So it's never, ajo is unborn. So essentially it's never not born. Nityaḥ is eternal. From there, śāśvato, it's everlasting. And then purāṇo, it's primeval, which means it never, there's no record of it ever not existing. And finally, hanyate, hanyamāne śarīre, which means when your body dies, which they all will, the soul does not. And so what does that mean for us? How can we apply that to our lives as yogis? And first, I really want to make it clear that, you may have different beliefs, right? If you have Christian heritage or, different perhaps beliefs, that may not resonate, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to, I'm not Hindu. I'm not here to, talk anybody into being one thing or the other, but really just what can we learn from these texts? What can we learn from this wisdom that's been passed down for thousands of years? So what can we learn from this? Well, first of all, if you think about it, even as I know I'm still young. I'm in my 40s, but even as I'm aging, I don't feel like I feel young at heart. I feel like I have a young spirit, a young soul, and that really makes sense, because even as the body ages, and I might even 10 plus years doing yoga, I don't do some of the poses that I used to do 10 years ago. So even though my body is not the same, and it's right? Because anything that is born ultimately will die. And so, my body was born, and then it grows and it develops and it ages. The soul doesn't. I still feel that, I guess my best way to describe it is young at heart. And there's those so-called old men who really are young at heart and have that internal vibrancy. So, another thing to consider is that really, okay, so yes, the soul is eternal and the body is not. So just because, we can start to perhaps as yogis connect to our soul and feel a sense of like, hey, we are eternal. And perhaps you've had loved ones who have passed. And even though they've passed, you still feel that connection. I have, all of my grandparents, but one in particular, my mom's mom from Finland. And I feel her presence at different times when I'm teaching yoga. There's little signs that she sends me, and I feel that. So to me, it even intellectually makes sense that she still exists, even though her physical body passed 8 years ago. Now, just because our soul is eternal, does that mean that we should neglect our physical bodies, not take care of ourselves? Of course not. That's not a smart thing to do. Obviously, the yogis teach us to, all of the different, the yamas, the niyamas, the various spiritual practices to take care of ourselves. And really, we evolve our physical bodies, our minds, we evolve as a result of the presence of our soul, of our consciousness. And I just think this is such a beautiful thing. For me, got into yoga originally for the physical practice, kicked my butt, got crazy sweaty in hot yoga class, felt amazing. And then, one day somebody came along, gave me this exact copy of the Bhagavad Gita while I was practicing yoga in a park. And knowing that, a lot of the teachings of yoga come from this book, as well as some others, but a lot of them come from this book. I just became curious to really understand that deeper purpose of yoga. And if you ever find yourself at this stage of your practice, of your life, perhaps of your teaching journey, and you feel hungry to learn more about the deeper purpose of yoga, I have actually a really cool free gift for you. If you just click the link in the first description below, and I've got a training video. It comes from our 200-hour yoga teacher training. And it's a lecture, just like 10 minutes long. And when you experience this, well, let me just say, it is one of the most powerful, effective, favorite videos of our yoga teacher training. And it's really going to support you in bringing more integrity into your yoga practice, into your life, into your teaching, and really helping you deepen your practice of yoga. So if that interests you, click the link and come on, and we'll see you in that video. But anyways, please, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like on the video here, leave a comment. Let me know what Bhagavad Gita verses might you like to learn about next, or is there something else you'd love to go deeper into this practice of yoga? And of course, subscribe to the channel so every time we put out a new video, you get notified. And most importantly, make it an amazing rest of the day. Sending you so much love and high vibes. Namaste.